I don't want to become the Rossi Brawler guy on YouTube. It's just not that interesting of a firearm, but it is cheap. And cheap guns are kind of fun to experiment with, and I don't really care if I break it. So, with that in mind, I modded my original Brawler. So, the comments on that video led me to the second series of mods. Some people were interested in how they attach a brace to it. Well, it actually turned out to be pretty easy to attach a brace to a Rossi Brawler. So if a Mossberg 500 grip could fit, why couldn't a Mossberg 500 stock adapter fit? With that in mind, I went to it, I grabbed the Dremel once more, and I braced my Brawler. Now, most of you are probably just coming here to really quickly see how to do it, so we'll do that first, but if you stick around, I do take it to the range to see how much the brace improves the gun, and so let's not waste any more time, and we'll kind of go over how we do this. First, you'll need the Ergo AR stock adapter for a Mossberg shotgun. So this adapter typically allows you to mount a AR-15 receiver extension, the buffer tube, and pistol grip onto your Mossberg 500. So what's great about it is that it's plastic. There's other versions of this. Some are metal, some are hard plastic. Go with the Ergo one. It's cheap enough that you could cut it up with a Dremel and not feel bad. So first thing, remove the old grip. Super simple to do. So I really should have filmed the actual work I did on the adapter, but I was kind of excited to jump to it. So the night the adapter came in from Amazon, I just took a Dremel and went wild. And I kind of forget that I have a YouTube channel now, so it's easy. It's really easy to modify this thing to fit. You'll need a Dremel and a plastic cutting head. Now the plastic on the Ergo adapter is just very, very soft. You could probably use a knife or a file and really get this done, but it would just take a whole lot longer. So you're going to have to trim the adapter in two different ways. So you'll have this circular ridge that connects to the rear of the Mossberg 500. You're going to have to trim the top portion of this ridge away and about halfway down the sides. Next, you have to trim the trigger guard area. So the trigger guard for the Brawler won't fit into this little area on the Ergo adapter, so you kind of have to hollow it out, thin it out a bit. I just cut through it. I don't care if it looked bad. So you trim the rear of this until the Brawler sits against the adapter. And the best part is this, you can just use the Brawler's stock grip screw to attach the adapter to the Brawler. So what you will notice is there is kind of a big gap. In shooting, this hasn't been an issue. I kind of plan to fill the gap, maybe with some kind of soft foam and a little bit of glue, just so it doesn't look as bad, but it didn't present any issues when shooting. So that's it. Attach your receiver extension, choice a brace, and it can directly attach to your arm, just as you intend to do because you would never really stock this thing. I went with an SP tactical brace, and I even used an old Matador folding AR adapter. It's specifically meant for AR receiver extensions that don't require a buffer. Now I have a ultra portable and compact brace pistol. In addition to the brace, I added a red dot, specifically a Burris Fastfire 4, and I did a quick zero at 25 yards. Right off the bat, the brace and red dot really cleaned up my groups. When compared to firing this as a standard unbraced handgun, the difference is night and day. You can still see that the rounds suffer from that little bit of freeboard jump, but it's much more accurate. So with 25 yard zero, I went to 50 yards, and it was really easy to make these good solid hits on a 10-inch gong. And then I tried it back to 75 yards and started aiming at a steel IPSC target. So since I was making solid hits at 75 yards on this kind of big steel target, I set up an FBIQ paper target and moved back to 100 yards. With the way my range is set up, I really can't see the steel because it sits a little low to the ground, but I can see the FBIQ target on the target stand. So then I started taking shots. I aimed at about head level, expecting some bullet drop, and I got about 10 inches of drop, maybe a foot of drop, probably more. Honestly, I aimed at the head and it hit kind of on par or right below the Q on the FBIQ target. Group-wise, it's a 10 MOA gun. I mean, but the shots are hitting the target. Maybe the group would clean up a little bit with better 45 Colt ammo, but I'm using what's cheap and what's available. What is really amusing is that the 45 Colt is moving so slow because it's a big subsonic round. It's very lightly loaded cowboy loads that there is a distinct moment between the time you hear the gun fire and the time it hits steel. It's very distinct and very long compared to other guns. It is very amusing to me. So overall, I think within 50 yards, you have a really lethal little game getter. I would definitely use a different 45 Colt load, something a little more powerful, a little more stout. I think Winchester makes a PDX round. That'd be probably pretty good for smallish to mediumish game within 50 yards. 45 Colt could easily take coyotes, deer, and some hogs. I mean, if you get one of those monster hogs, you might be in trouble. I do think it could be a decent little survival option, with its lightweight, and if you want to, it could have a folding brace too. Now, you could arguably hunt with it if your state allows you to hunt with handguns, but I do think there's just better options. A dedicated hunting revolver, I think, is better, but a dedicated hunting revolver doesn't cost less than $200 at times. So with 410, you have a lot more control, and with the right rounds, you could bag small game up close, and maybe even medium game with the right buckshot load. So the brace really takes it from a dumb fun gun to something much more practical and capable. It fits very easily in a backpack, and it's still legally a pistol because it's just a pistol with a pistol brace. There's nothing different there. So it could be legally concealed carried if you needed to. So if I'm hiking, I could toss this in a pack and have a very capable little gun that's still just a pistol and legal within my state. I did make the 3D printer go burr and printed another forend from Veldcon, which you can find on GitHub. The same one before. It has a small compartment, and this time I actually threw a few survival accessories in there. Admittedly, I didn't put a whole lot of thought in this. I just kind of grabbed some stuff I had. One of the things being like this capsule tool that has like a mini multi-tool in it. It has a knife sharpening rod and a small flint for making fire. And the capsule itself becomes a handle for the knife sharpening rod and the flint. With a little extra room left in that container with the capsule, I decided just to try to put as much paracord as I could in there. I probably got about 18 inches to a foot. It's not much, but according to like 2012 logic, you'll die if you don't have enough paracord. Specifically, this is a type of paracord that's actually meant to be flammable, so it starts fires, so it's more for tinder than anything else. It's a neat little kit, and even though it's kind of made up on the spot, it does show the potential for the little gun and printing that Veldcon forend. Overall, adding the brace and admittedly adding the forend makes a dumb fun gun into an actual capable weapon, and admittedly a very useful weapon. I think it could be a good option as a kind of a cheap survival gun. I would definitely get a folding brace or a brace adapter like I did, and you could toss it into your truck, into your boat, and I guess if you're rich enough to have a plane, you don't need a Rossi Brawler, but you get what I mean. It's better for dealing with threats beyond normal handgun ranges, and you can pick between 410 and 45 Colt. Both have some pretty decent outdoor use. So with that in mind, I think the brace brawler is definitely the way to go. If you guys have any questions, check below and ask. I'll see if I can answer them. I really appreciate you guys watching, and I hope you have a great day. Thank you.